him as well. So,
well, I could probably help you out there because effectively I do a write-up after this session. So with any notes that we probably need to take, I'll get you to paste that into Basecamp for us so that basically we've got it, and then I do a nice tidy version for everybody that just says what we went through. There may be one or two things that you maybe need to take some notes if it's probably more particular to you when accessing a couple of things. But otherwise, hopefully between the two of us, we'll get it all down. And after the session, as I said, hopefully within the next 24 hours, I normally do a write-up from the session that just basically goes through everything that we talk about today.
Amazing. That sounds really good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So I'm going to start by getting you to share your screen if possible. So next to Mike down below, it's got share. And then it's just a matter of selecting screen. If you could select entire screen. You're just working off the one monitor today, Katie, or two?
I've got a laptop and a monitor. So
so maybe sometimes whatever you sort of feel more comfortable sort of looking at. Sometimes people, I know I do, I kind of use my monitor as my big screen. Yeah. So maybe share your monitor. It might be the best bet. Awesome. And then what we'll do, so that was his notes from last time. So what I'll get you to do, if you can just open is this your Gmail in a browser, isn't it? Yeah, is it?
This is in Outlook. I don't know.
That's your Outlook. So yeah, just go to your browser for me, if that's okay. It was just because I saw Chrome was open down there. There we go. So if you click on us, go down to your Chrome down below, click on us, and then open a new tab up if you can do that.
Yeah. Let me just move that one across.
That's it. Perfect. Yeah. And then what I'll do, you wouldn't have opened this before potentially, but let's see. Do you remember getting the invite for Basecamp?
Yes, I do.
And I don't know if you've signed in, but if you haven't signed in, you could actually go in and just go accept this invite and view on Basecamp, something along those lines.
Let's have a look. That's not base.
No, it's this one here. So this one that's coming through. See how it says view this on Basecamp, scrolling up the top? There's a blue hyperlink.
Yeah.
Click on that one. Yeah. Oh, very good. I like it when people keep it clean. Okay, so do you remember if you ever checked in?
No, I haven't checked in.
Okay, so let's do that now for you. So this would be using your, let me just double check which email I sent that to. I'm pretty sure it's going to be your Katie email at Brockhill. So just put that one in and then use a password that, you kind of use for your socials perhaps. For you personally, not it's not one that you need to share, basically.
Okay.
So that might be something. Yeah, write it down for yourself. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, and then Yeah, I was going to say this should take you in. Perfect. You're in. So let's click on. So you might as well. Well, it's up to you if you do, but I always find it worthwhile saving. Otherwise, anyway, so you can get in every time on these things. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's for Blair. It's Blair's, is it? Okay. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, he's going to be up with it. So let's click on then that Brockhill Usherwood. That's the project in the middle there. Yep. And then what I'll get you to do is see how we've got under discussions. It's got Dify Social set up. Can I get you to right click on that one and open it in a new tab? I can see that you're going to be a joy to work with. You're very good around this laptop. Awesome. So on here, if you scroll down a little bit, we've done the setup. So, but we're going to today, what we're working through is underneath. It's just we talk about the planning session, right? So if you scroll down a little bit further, and under here, under, and there's planning session, right? So we'll just leave that there for now. Then let's go back to the Basecamp to the left. And let's click on the one underneath, which says social media website pages and account setup. In actual fact, you probably just have what you could do is where you've got new tab on the far left hand side. Let's use your website use the website for that tab. So just do Brockhill and Usherwood lawyers in the web, and we'll probably use a bit from there potentially of what we do today. So, right. So going to that base camp that's on the far right, up the top there. Now I'll get you to go right click on the company page there. So see how it's got, yeah, and you can open that LinkedIn up. We'll open that up. And yeah, it'll probably, is this going to open up because this is yours? This is your
Yeah.
awesome. That's what we want it
This
to
is
be. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Okay, so I don't, so realistically, while we've got you in the room, it makes sense to have in project speak. I think they say Blair's the Blair's the sponsor. You're the champion, together with me, right? So we make it happen. So because I clearly he kind of knows and that the capabilities you perhaps have that he's still building maybe, or that he's got realistically he's got bigger fish to fry, let's face it, with the work that he has to do. So then I'll get you to go back to the base camp to the left and we'll open up Facebook. So the one immediately to the left of LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we've got Facebook page. So this was the write up after the so as I said, this was the tidy part. So yeah, if we open up Facebook, maybe drag it to the right of LinkedIn.
It's just dragged it to a completely different window.
Grab on the tab. If you grab on the tab itself, and you might be able to bring it back in. There you go. Took me a while to master that one. Are you on a Mac?
No, HP.
Okay.
Windows.
No, I won't hold that against you. Okay, there we go. Back to that Basecamp one that's got the setup details next to LinkedIn. Yeah, and then we'll just go right click on Instagram. Link a new tab. Yep. And we'll drag that to the right of LinkedIn. Oh, sorry, drag that to the right of Facebook. My bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we will go and do the same for Twitter. We don't need specifically Google My Business Open, but it might be given you're on the call just to make sure you've got access to that. So if you want to right click on that and then drag that to the right, and you do, so that's awesome. So we know that that's the case. Fantastic. So effectively the ones, and I am reminded in there underneath at the bottom here where we talk about Facebook page, in the Facebook ads manager, what do they say to be created? In fact, Blair had to do an ID check, which hopefully won't prove. So there was an issue around the ads manager, which we're not going to. We'll have to probably wait till he's in the room to be able to do that. But because of his status, we might need to work out if there's a workaround. And I don't know why he would have that status. It's very rare when it comes up. But I think anyway, as I said, let's not get bogged down with it. Let's go first to, so if you can probably drag this tab just to the left of the one in the middle. So, and in other words, to the left of the other Basecamp one, because, leave it there, because it's the next. I want to go back now to the planning session and what we're going to cover today, if that's okay.
Okay.
So which was the one immediately next to LinkedIn here now. Yep. So just in case you sort of haven't been brought up to speed with what we're sort of the overall aim, right? So with our business, we typically what do they call it? Rebrief almost. So is that the right word? Anyway, the brief that we sort of tell people that we're, from a strategic point of view, there's four things we're aiming to do, right? So, and you can see those there. So we want to protect and build brand equity into the business, which we kind of did by way of the setup session. So all of a sudden, there's 6 new or 6 revised social media sites that, particularly in the day and age we're now in, they're all online sites. They're all able to be communicated through. They do add value to the business, and so it kind of makes the business, gives more avenues to be able to engage and communicate, but also ultimately, hopefully, makes them more valuable as businesses. You know what I mean? Generally speaking, without sort of going over the strategy itself, we want to differentiate you and your representatives from your competition, because ultimately we want that competitive advantage as well. So what we kind of know from a small business perspective is that very few small businesses use a comprehensive social media marketing and Facebook ad strategy. They just it's less than less than, or it's about 50% of businesses that actually have a Facebook page. That's it, right? So if they've got a social media presence, it's just a Facebook page, and of them, only around 30% have ever tried advertising. That doesn't mean they're advertising; they've just tried it, right? So all of a sudden, it's a very minuscule percentage because Facebook is so ungenerous with its organic algorithm now. Unless you're advertising, unless you spend $1, it's unlikely that any new people are going to get to know you. So it's the combination of the habit of the scheduled messaging together with across all channels, together with Facebook, which owns Instagram advertising, which then gives the impetus to both get new clients and hopefully continue to retain and get referred business as well. So that's the overall strategy. Hence, we want to be top of mind with our people that already know of us, and we want to increase business development opportunity with people that don't know of us at the moment because we'll use a Facebook ad strategy there as well. Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. And so a lot of the things, so when we talk about who, that's a lot of that is we set a saved audience in the Facebook ads platform. I don't think you would have had that previously because you've not boosted or done any posts, I think, as the business. You've not been involved in any of that, Katie, no?
No, not as far as I'm aware.
And from memory, I don't think Blair said that he hasn't done any of that, and pretty much his current status would suggest he's not able to do that. Ultimately, we use the web for any of our call to actions, any of our positioning, any of our posts. We're effectively repositioning website content. It's called repurposing, right? So we repurpose. We almost take a soundbite from the website, put it on the social media because it's all about the feeds. It's all about getting into the feeds of the different followers, and we put a little call to action at the bottom of those. So we basically say to learn more or to book a free, and then we put the link and we put a contact phone and that sort of stuff. So we're always trying to shift people to either the phone, the website. If you want them in the office, maybe the office, but depending. Generally, it's the website and the phone,
Yeah.
and maybe thirdly the email, and then fourthly is probably on site coming in and dinging the doorbell if that's what happens. So that's that side of things. So just scrolling down a little bit further. So as I said, we'll do the Facebook ads, and that includes an ads manager. It includes a pixel that we put behind the website. So that's something that we'll give to the web person. It's not already there, so we'll have to create that. Blair's going to do an extra small. So what we'll finish up doing is talking about a schedule for Monday, Wednesday, Friday posts. And scrolling down right at the end, and when we get to the end, we'll just talk about a couple of little tips and tricks that we'll kind of go on with around engaging with things yourselves, sharing things potentially, maybe filling in gaps when it's Katie's second or third anniversary. Real-time posts often work quite well. I don't really need to schedule those. That's something that could be done on the spot, either via Instagram and the Facebook business suite, or however you want to do it. Having said that, sometimes people do send me images and say, can you put this across all of our social sort of things? So we'll talk a little bit about that side of things too. And then if you scroll right down to the bottom of this, where Blair took his notes last time. What I'll do is I'll get you to start the same thing here as well. So underneath his notes is what we'll just do is there's a comment there, and we'll just say planning session notes maybe. Cool. And so I guess just to kick us off, we've basically opened all the channels that we're going to work with. And our first thing that we're going to look at is connecting P2P and B2B effectively.
Okay.
So let's go to LinkedIn, and I'm going to use your profile if that's okay, because then Ben. Why do I keep saying Ben? Blair? He's got a good mate, Blaine. That should be the one that I should be saying. Blair and Blaine. If you now go, go and view this as a member if you can. So that's probably the first step. Just Make sure you're following. Okay, cool. I imagine if I get you to click on me at the top next to notifications and go view profile of yourself. Yep. So paralegal at and good on you for having sort of a cover and your image there. Awesome. You can actually, probably put more things in your contact info if you wished. In fact, if you want to, underneath your cover image, do you want to hit the pencil? Yeah. And it just makes you more searchable, that sort of thing. So you've got paralegal at Brockhill and Usherwood. Let me just have a look at what Blair actually had on his. Because in terms of what you might want to do, is if you actually just open LinkedIn in another tab on the right, just go far right and just do LinkedIn again. Let's have a look at Blair and see what we put in there. I think we may have talked to a couple of the specialities around risk and that side of things.
Okay.
And so it just might be, if you're working on particular areas of the law within the organisation, it's possibly worthwhile. Not possibly, it is worthwhile stipulating what those are, right? So if you click on him there, um, yeah, so see how it's got specialising in. So
Yeah.
what you could do in your case, there's probably space to go specializing in if you want to, and if it's something that you're working in, and then you could still have your spacer that then says what your qualification is, right? So you could probably even have a third. So you'll finish up probably with 3 lines. Is
Hmm.
that something that you think's worthwhile doing? You
Yeah.
happy
I
to do that?
mean,
Yep.
especially if I just copy
Yeah,
this.
copy that. Put that into. If you put it. So add another stick, and then put it in the middle, right? Um, that will be good. Journalism and legal seems to be a bit of a combination. Is that right?
An interesting combination, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense that if you're a good, that having that skill,
It's
and
just nice to do something a bit creative because we're
yeah,
quite dry.
and we'll go save on that just to make sure it saves within there,
Hmm.
and it looks like it does. So perfect. So that's good. Then the other thing I'll get you to do, if you go contact info and just hit the pencil to the right. Well, I like fixing this little part. So then with the little, in fact, just because we've got a couple open, let's get rid of Blair now on the far right because we don't want it to be confused when we've got more than one LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the only one gets a bit tanty at times. Go and that blue hyperlink where it's got your name, Katie, and a lot of numbers after. Just click on that one. It'll open a new tab. And what we're going to do here on the right-hand side, if you hit the little pencil where it says edit your custom URL, and I reckon you could probably have Katie Gale without the little dash in between and get rid of everything after as well. I don't, yeah. So do you want to maintain the Katie dash Gale? Probably doesn't hurt, but it's up to you. You could actually have it one word.
Like,
Yeah,
so
I don't. It just depends whether there's any other Katie Gales on LinkedIn, but let's have a look.
don't know whether there'll be any. Yeah,
No, there
KATI.
isn't. There you are. So, what you can do, top right, click back on me again on the top right there, and go view profile again, maybe. Yep. And then let's close the LinkedIn on the left. And what I'll get you to do is copy your LinkedIn personal profile now, just so you're aware. You could use that on your email signature picker, that sort of thing, as your public. That's effectively your public domain. It's really your business card slash CV slash whatever. So maybe paste that into back into Basecamp. We kind of done that. So at the bottom of the one next to LinkedIn, I think. Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing is if we now go back to your LinkedIn profile. And we'll go on the contact info again underneath your description. Now you can hit that pencil on the right hand side. And what we can do here is if you go add website up the top, and you can copy and paste the website that's open far left. And you can go, instead of saying personal, you go other at the bottom, and you just go Brockhill and Usherwood lawyers. And then add a website again. And this time, if we copy the Facebook page URL, and look, having said this, this is often makes a lot more, you do it for the owner. If you want to swap and change some of these, if you've got a journalist blog or things along those lines, probably having the legal practice is enough. So that's up to you. So again, I'm putting this in. Actually, I was thinking, well, just so you know what we did do and what we've done for Blair, you
Yeah.
don't have to do it this way, I guess, as an employee of the company. So that's up to you. So maybe in your case, maybe having the website is sufficient now, and then maybe give it some thought whether you've got any other sort of creative sort of things you want to put in here. Yeah. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I don't. I'm doing the journalism degree, but I won't pursue
Yeah.
it. So I
Okay.
don't really have
At this
any.
stage, so let's just go other again, and what we do then on the personal side, you can just go BU. I think so it fits. You can go BU lawyers, and then put in brackets Facebook page, or even just a dash Facebook page. Sorry, because I think it actually puts it in brackets as the hyperlink. And then the other one that Blair has put in, if you go add website, is the Google map. So if you go to the base camp on the we've got two options. And actual fact, I'll show you where it is actually on Google My Business. If you go to Google My Business on the far right, and you scroll down this page, somewhere it says View on Maps. Actually, maybe scroll up. There it is on the right hand side, View on Maps. And then if you click on Share on the right hand side under the rocket, that gives you that link. So just copy that link, and then you could put that in there, and you go other, and you can go BU Lawyers Google. And then it's just a question of whether you want to put the office address, or you just say Melbourne or something along those lines. But I think you have a virtual office, right? Is it a virtual office or a suite or something that you use?
Yeah, we've got a wait, let's just.
Okay, and so we can go save there. Okay, and we can close that off. I can see that. Have you got your work email at least associated with this? Do you know? Because you can add multiple emails. That's the thing. So if you go me up the top, so if you're giving me a business card, I can search you and I'll find you. But if you go into settings underneath account, you can go in. I think it's sign in and security up the top, or account yeah, email addresses. There we are.
Yeah.
You've just got the one in there, so you can add your BU lawyers one as well, and have a secondary. You can keep the other one as your default. It's fine. It doesn't really matter which one's which. It just means that people can actually connect and find you with that. So yeah, it's probably worth sending a verification to that. Oh, and that's your LinkedIn. You need to probably put that in before you actually send it. Yeah.
Hang on. I'm gonna have to just look up.
Look that up. No worries. Yep.
This might be a bit of a guess.
I was going to say, usually it takes people 3 times. You did it well. You got it in 1. Write that down now next to your next to your base camp entry. It was a good guess. Solid. Okay. And then top right, let's go back to LinkedIn. On the right there, yeah. Cool. So you've got that associated now, which is awesome. Looks like you got your shortcut, my items on the left-hand side. If you click on Brockhill, and actual fact, we don't want to go there yet. We don't want the next thing I want to do with you is and it's more so as well because it's something that I really want Blair to do. There's a really good opportunity for him to do this,
Mhm.
is to be connecting with others, right? So arguably, LinkedIn is the most powerful of the social medias because it's personal and direct. Hi,
Mhm.
Katie. Good to meet you today. I'd love to stay in touch. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Um, as soon as, to be quite honest, 99% of people, as soon as you say, hi, Katie, and as long as they're using LinkedIn, they'll connect with you
Yeah.
because 80% of people don't say, hi, Katie, right? And so it doesn't really matter whether I've met Katie or I just know of Katie or I'd like to know of Katie, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, right? So he said, as long as there's some context, right? Um, I'll talk about that. So, um, you guys have the virtual office in the city. So what I often tell people, so effectively that's where the business is based, isn't it? It's a city of Melbourne business,
Yeah.
correct? Even though Blair's in Newport, I think, is he Newport?
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah, and
generally.
whereabouts are you?
I'm in Diamond Creek.
Diamond Creek, lovely.
Yeah.
So, what's the council in Diamond Creek out of interest?
Nillumbik Council.
Nillumbik, awesome. So, what I might do, I'll do two things because the first ones I often start with for most businesses,
Mhm.
it's worth um, being connected to the economic development people in the council that you work from. Because
Okay.
economic development people in the local councils are charged with helping local business to succeed. Right. And
Mhm.
often that's by way of resources, it might be just knowledge, it might be training, it might be breakfast workshops, or it could even be grant funding. And certainly, City of Melbourne is good around. When COVID struck, there was a lot of digital funds to businesses they could apply for if you're a City of Melbourne business, right? So the council, because it's such a big council, Melbourne. Often is a bit more flush than Nillumbik, for instance, or Maribyrnong, where I am. So that makes us good. Nillumbik, I'm Maribyrnong. Blair technically would be Hobson's Bay, right? So I'd be telling Blair to do the same thing for Hobson's Bay, make sure he knows the people. The good thing about the West is all the different economic development team people, they all know each other, which is kind of interesting, right? So,
Mhm.
so let's start with just because it's probably easy to find. I'll get you to put in search there. I want you to do Nillumbik um, Council, right? And I'll get you to click on that. Yep. And click on Nillumbik Shire Council up the top. And you're already following that, which is cool. And so you can see there's there's 270 employees. I'll get you to click on 270 employees on the right hand side. Excuse me. Right. So the people that we're kind of interested in is not the ones here. Scrolling down just a little bit further. In fact, probably we want to basically, if you hit next, there's not too many people in there. It's more looking for economic development, right? So the
Mhm.
mayor, potentially the mayor, you might as well be connected to the mayor. Bronny, do you know Bronny?
I don't know, Ronnie. I didn't even know that was our they had an election like a week
So
ago.
what you can do is go, yeah, that's true. They do swap every year often. Let's hit connect, and I'm going to get you to do a message, right? Add a note, right? So add a note, and you might say, hi, Bronny. Um, uh, I reside locally and am a paralegal uh, for a legal practice, maybe something along those lines. Full start. It would be good to connect on LinkedIn, and you might say, "Kind regards, Katie." Yeah, keep it on the same line, and then copy that for yourself, because we might use variations of that for others.
Mhm.
But you could see there's nothing offensive in that. So yeah, just paste that into Basecamp, and you can hit send. Yep, hit send, and put it into Basecamp, and then we'll have a look and see if there's anybody else in Nillumbik, and then we might have a little bit of a look. It looks like there's going to be more economic development type ones in environmental youth development. it's interesting with the shire councils. Often, an economic development is yeah, slightly more. It's funny. So my background was sport and recreation, so I spent a lot of time in community development. So um, communities first, maybe communities. So let's go with Amy. She's kind of a she looks interesting. I actually closed that. Yeah. So you know what? So you don't need to do that. Click on Amy. So that's actually quite good that that came up. So if you click there
Mm-hmm.
and then you click on more next to message and then you go connect and then you go connect up the top and then add a note and you can paste what you've just done is say, hi, Amy. Yep. Yep. So hopefully that doesn't scare them by the fact that you're a paralegal. People probably don't actually necessarily, especially understand what that is. But yes, they might think, shoot, am I in trouble? But you can see there's nothing offensive in that message. And what and perhaps because this is recording is as much for you as for Blair. The reason we do this is a couple-fold, right? There's a couple of reasons. So firstly, we want to build a strong network that know of you and of what you do, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but realistically, we don't want to create a network link for the network link's sake, right? It's no, I've got, I don't know, 5,500 people I'm connected to, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
the idea there is, and let's say there could be 200 mortgage brokers in there, right? Now, am I going to use all of those mortgage brokers? Well, of course not. But it gives me a good selection if I know many of them. And what I do know is that I'm connected to a lot more mortgage brokers than I am to social media marketers, right? So there's not as many of me about, right? And there's not as many probably of what, certainly with the specialization of what you and Blair have, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the idea here is connect with as many people as you can. Clearly, the next step with somebody, probably not Amy, but potentially with the mayor, the next step would normally be, hey, and it's not a sales message, by the way. The saying is selling is repelling. The idea is about relationship first, winning business potentially second, right? Relationship first always. The idea with particularly people in government is that thanks for connecting. I wonder if you can help me. Is there what sort of support does the government and what sort of support does the council provide small businesses? And can you point me in the right direction?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in government, that's what they're paid to do. So it's basically what's the follow up question? Why were you connecting? You know what I mean? Now, it
Yeah.
could be that, for instance, you're connecting, and I'm imagining, and once Blair's with us, he can say, but there could be a whole range of construction companies, right? So I don't know if there's a construction company, for instance, at the moment that you'd like to work with. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get you to do this necessarily, but let's just search, for instance, I don't know, what's a large construction company that you might work with, or is there any clients that you've worked with that you can look, that you're actually already working with or Blair's worked with?
Not that I can think of as far as construction companies. Sorry,
So,
just trying to think off the top of my head.
well, yeah, without putting you on the spot, so this
Mm-hmm.
is the same for Blair. So, particularly, I mean, Blair's a bit younger than me, but not too much, right? So, in the past, I used to have it here, right? So, in the past, we'd collect oh, here we go. Like, I've literally got that's nothing of the business cards that I've got from people, right? So, I've got a couple of shoe boxes. Realistically, and Blair clearly now is an offline in-person networker or Zoom networker is how we've had to do it recently. Anybody that I've ever met of interest and I've had some form of conversation, well, these become superfluous because the first thing I do after I've been to a networking meet or any form of meeting, and it could be for you, it could be it could be with your studies, with your education forum or whatever it is. You might go to a
Mm-hmm.
conference, right? And there's quick ways actually of you finish up people. If you do a who's in the room type thing on LinkedIn, you can actually do a lot. The only question thing there, when if you all of a sudden do 20 at a time, you almost need to send them a message and say, "I was nice to meet you at such and such conference that we both attended," right? Otherwise, you can forget how you know them, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, back in the day, we used to keep sorted A to Z business cards, or, yes, we moved to CRM systems, but this is the best CRM system for your personal network, right? So,
Mhm.
particularly for you, there's a saying, right? Um, your network is your net worth, right? And you being where in the position you are at this particular time, you've got a lifetime career ahead of you of network that you'll build. So if you have that practice of people that you've helped, people that have helped you, people that you've met, people that you've worked with that are relevant, and generally speaking that you like, or whatever. It doesn't have to be, as I said, or that you think you'd like, right? So that's the other the reason I was sort of saying, Blair can easily go in here. And I'm trying to think. I think he's talked about little projects, for instance. So even if you do somebody like that, so go little projects in the on the top left hand. I think you sort of see them about a bit. So little projects, I think it's called.
Fun.
Although that's yeah,
Realistic.
let's click on that one. I don't know that that is the one, but Melvin Vic could be. You see there, right? So by way of example, um, there's clearly little projects, construction company. So I'm hoping this is a good example for Blair, right? Is that
Mhm.
well, clearly it's in Melbourne, so there's a good likelihood that it is the construction company I'm thinking of. Um, but he could do this for any one of the construction companies that he wants to connect with, and it's not something. Sometimes people are paying sales manager. It's like driving a Rolls Royce with actually not knowing how to drive a Holden. And so this enables you to drive the Holden, right? You don't need to pay for a sales navigator. You just need to go out and look for the people that you'd like to know of you, and for them, and so that you can get to know them, right? So if development and construction companies are important to Blair, he would then do well. Um, I would suggest he's not connected to Leighton, he's not connected to Paris, and he's not connected to Arthur, because he's connected to you. If he was connected to those people, you'd be a second contact for them, right?
Yeah.
So that's the advantage of that. Um, so that's generally what I explain about connecting. Does that all make sense around people to people?
Yeah, it does.
It is the most powerful. It's also good news or bad news. It's also homework. Effectively, it's not something I can do for people. It's essentially what you can do for yourself and for the business. As I said, particularly for you, albeit that you're an employee in the business, you will never regret having a really strong network.
Mhm.
You just won't ever regret it, right? So, in fact, one thing we should do, we should be connected if we're not already. So maybe put in Steve Hubbard and let's make sure that we're connected. Because as I said, what then happens is with those people that do have larger, yeah, that top fella, people that do have larger connections, um, uh, and when you're actually in a room with somebody and we're talking, you don't actually have to write me a personal message. So you can just hit connect and send. Um, but um, but yeah, so it's like a snowball effect, right? So if you've got 500 connections,
Mhm.
um, but those connections then probably give you access to, let's say, um, maybe 50,000, because you got people like me, for instance. You got larger one, people with larger. You can have up to 20,000 before you get topped out, right? And I know some people that do have that many. Often they're LinkedIn people, right? So, but yeah, um, and then that 50,000 effectively gives you access to probably a million third, right? So have you ever heard, I think it's 5 steps to Kevin Costner, or Kevin Bacon, actually it is 5 steps to Kevin Bacon, right? So that we're all connected to Kevin Bacon in some way, right? LinkedIn's very much like that.
Mhm.
So the benefit of having a strong and big connection is if you then go to the company. So maybe the shortcut to that is just click on you and then click on your shortcut for the company page.
Mm.
Or actually, yeah, there's a few ways to get to it, but I always go then click on the icon down below next to your name. Actually, scroll down to your name and make sure you have connected it. I can see. So when you click on that Brockhill one on the right, that'll probably knock you down the page to your actual where your experience, and then you can click on the icon next to paralegal. Yep, and that'll take you to the page. And so within this page, you can now invite your connections to follow, right? So it looks like somebody's been doing that, right? Because 186 is actually quite a strong following. So if you click on admin tools on the top right under viewers member, and you go invite connections. So for Blair, I don't know how many connections Blair's got, but a month should never go past where he doesn't invite 100 connections.
Okay.
Because LinkedIn company, the organic algorithm is far stronger than Facebook's. So in other words, more people see my posts for Dify Social, and I've got roughly the same numbers following both Facebook page and LinkedIn. But LinkedIn's algorithm is built differently, right? And so LinkedIn's algorithm is a lot more generous. Funnily enough, LinkedIn's advertising is far more expensive. And so it doesn't pay to advertise on LinkedIn unless you're advertising for a job. Then it pays because it's much cheaper than Seek. But as far as Facebook, where Facebook makes up for it, if you spend $1 now on Facebook, it's a lot more generous than it's fair dinkum better than it was pre-pandemic, and I swear it's almost back to like 2012 type. It's good now for what you spend $1 and what you get. But anyway, there may be one or two people in here that you might want to invite, because you can. It doesn't matter which admin invites. So just so you know, that's how you do it. You can come in here and you can invite any of your connection to follow the company page. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yep.
Right. Yeah. So just by clicking.
Yep, click on that and it's just invite, right? And
Okay.
so again, given the way we're working, that's something that you're almost, as I said, we're the champions for this business. So we want to make sure that Blair, no month goes past without us together collectively inviting 100 people to this page. Now, they're not always going to accept, but if they don't accept, that just sort of bumps back in. So you can kind of then invite the next 100, right? So, but that's where it's important. Let's say Blair does already have 500 connections. That's still sort of 5 or 6 months of inviting people. So it's important that he continues to build his following, right? So otherwise, he's not going to have new people to invite to follow. Yep. So we can hit invite down the bottom right. So yeah, Ellery will get a copy of that. So there you go. She might be interested and we can close that on. So that's, as I said, the advantage of LinkedIn and what we can do on LinkedIn, which is quite powerful, right? So, and we see that in the reporting. So we do every second month reporting, and we report on how's the following growing. And if you scroll down a little bit on this page, you can see at the moment you've had 282 impressions, right? So post impressions, which is actually up 1,486, which possibly is the work we did last week. Chenier, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it also may well be because I don't know if he's added some more followers in there as well. Although it doesn't look like it because there was 100 available to us and we only met last week or whenever we met. So, so that something's triggered that, right? But you can see that with 186, you're already getting 282. It'll be interesting if we have a look at Facebook. I reckon it's probably already as good as what Facebook probably the insights are, right? So, so let's go to Facebook next because there is a similar feature, and just recognizing that particularly older people, more mature people, 40 years somethings, are starting to use Facebook the way they should be using LinkedIn. Because I don't understand LinkedIn, but Facebook, I kind of get this now, right? So as far as Facebook is concerned, see the 3 dots under the call now. You can actually invite friends in here. So particularly again with Blair, so if you click on invite friends, so again, if any of these people, so you're likely to have probably you're on the conservative side for a younger person, but you may well, I don't know, depending on what Blair's done. But you know, a lot of these ones are probably friends and family that you may or may not wish to invite. I certainly at one point regretted inviting my parents to like my pages, because then they started commenting on things. I had to explain to them the difference between yeah, what I do and who I am and things. But the reality is, you probably have a portion of networking here as well. So if there's a
Yeah.
few and if fellow students, maybe that sort of stuff. Again, it's yeah,
This is the same person I just did on LinkedIn. She'll be on here.
yeah. Actually, I don't know if it helps. Oh, yeah, search. Try that. Yep. There
Yeah.
you go. And so yeah, so but I often sort of say to the business owners, sorry, I got some work happening next door.
That's okay.
The often friends and family. There's two things about friends and family, particularly for the business owner, right? Is they want them to do well in business, and in fact, your friends and family would want you to do well in your career, right?
Mhm.
So many will accept it on the basis that, oh, I really like Blair, good guy. I think he's going to, I'm really hoping he does well in the business, continues to do well in the business, right? Because he's already doing okay. So that's the idea here, is that effectively they become almost referral partners, right? So they might not use you, but they'll be the first people they'll think of. Oh yeah, Blair and Katie are involved in that. So there is the strength of Facebook a bit similar, recognizing that particularly the 40 somethings and over typically use it more like LinkedIn than they should like Facebook, So they're less likely. I don't know how Blair, I mean, they're still likely to have photos of kids and all that sort of stuff. Um, but there are also many start to talk almost what I'd say too much around their business. So, yeah. So, in actual fact, it does remind me. I'll get you to connect with Diffy Social, Steve, as well, if that's okay, because
Yeah.
there might be from an advertising we might need to be connected. So, if you
Okay.
just go search Facebook and go Stephen G.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's
Steve.
right, Stephen, and then a space, and then G, and then a space Hubbard. Yeah, and that fellow on the top right.
Yep. Just
Yep.
this one.
Yep. And I'm happy for you to connect with the fellow below that. That's actually, if you really want to see, that's so I kind of do have a fun and professional profile because of the reasons I just explained, right? So
Yeah.
that's so they're both me effectively, but one I use professionally for the business, and one I use where, as I said, I've got a 6-year-old, and yeah, that's kind of the other one side of things. But there may well be, particularly around Facebook advertising, and particularly if you're more running it, we may well require that access. So let's go.
Mhm.
There we go. Katie Gale sent me a thank you for that. The other thing is, you can in your friends. I should know how to, but you can change people as well. Particularly Stephen G. I'm happy to be changed as like acquaintance. You know what I mean? So people that you are, and that's something you can always work through with your different network as well, right?
Mhm.
Um, but again, most younger people are kind of a little bit sensitive around what they post nowadays, right? And I'm imagining something that's a paralegal with studying journalism is probably not going to post a picture at 1 a.m. in the morning of doing whatever they normally do, maybe.
I don't post very much at all
Yeah, it's funny.
for exactly that
It
reason.
is, and it's very true. Like, it's moving away from. It's interesting. Yeah, that the yeah. Anyway, so maybe they're saving more for for the TikToks and the Snapchats. Who knows? But let's go now. We actually go back to the Brockhill and Usherwood. Brockhill. That's right. Brockhill and
Hmm.
Underwood. Usherwood. BU. Go back to the page. Usherwood. Yeah, there you go. Excuse me. And just click on the hyperlink in the middle. Um,
As in this one here.
yep,
Sorry.
that one there. And then what I'll get you to do, well, given we are on Facebook, it's the most difficult. Actual fact. So in there, you've clearly got the. Are you in? Are you connected to this page? You've got the call now. That's actually not in as So you're not in as the page, right? You're just looking at it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so have you? Um, Let me go to the page, because that's the first thing I should have looked at to make sure that you're actually. Did Blair invite you to it or not? Or it didn't. Well, maybe he was waiting for today.
I think I've liked the page.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I'll let me just go to it, and I've got admin now, so I can add you,
Mhm.
and it's probably yeah. So um, actually liked. What the hell? Even I don't have access within it. Is that right? What the heck? That is so weird. What's going on here? Brockhill and Lawyer. Do you? More? Hmm. That is way weird. Let me just go back to the base camp, which is in the middle, the middle one.
Mhm.
Facebook page, BU Lawyers, business settings. We weren't able to add us to that, but the Facebook page we added. I'm sure we added us both uh, to there, but I'm in the same. I was about to go. Okay, I'm just going to add you as an admin, and I'm looking here, and I also don't have access to it. Do you know? Have you signed in as Blair ever? Does he? Do you know how to access it? He probably hasn't given you that. I wouldn't think. No, no.
No,
Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
um, okay. Well, we're going to have to look at something else for now. Then, um, that's bizarre. Actually, I am. Yeah, I am staggered by that. Hang on, because normally I would go and connect the other thing straight after. Anyway, lucky he's joining us hopefully in 20 minutes. So um, let's then do what we can do. So if you go to Twitter,
Mhm.
in fact, you'll have to sign into these, right? So if you
Yeah.
go, you just go, where is sign
Well,
in? It,
there we go.
there we go. And then if you go, we've got the sign-in details on the right. Sorry, on the left with in Basecamp. So if you go to the one in the middle again, and you can just use the BU Lawyers at the end. See how it's got Twitter? You just grab the last bit where it says BU Lawyers. You can use the user name, which is just that BU Lawyers there. So copy that part. Oh yes, you probably know it. So you just write it, maybe.
That's probably quicker to
Yeah.
just.
It can be. I don't know if it's case sensitive. I just go phone, yeah, that part there, and do it. Do it how it's written. I can just be a bit sensitive. I've seen. I think it's actually a capital L too. Yeah. Yep. And then go next. And then the password is underneath Instagram. It's the same password for each. So BU. Yep. And back to Twitter. Cool. Right. So we're in there, and let's do the same for Instagram. So log in. It's the same. So switch accounts, yeah, and just do. You can probably paste the password first. Yeah. Oh, BU lawyers.
Interesting.
Just check there's not a space at the end. Do a space after that. As in, you know what I mean. If you go, often when people copy,
I'm
and
really sorry. Can I just
yeah,
grab
yep,
this?
yep, no worries.
Sorry. Brockhill Usherwood Lawyers, Katie speaking. Hi, Philip. How are you? Sorry, just one of the barristers. Sorry, you were saying about a space.
space to the end. So often that becomes what the problem is. So make it go show. Click on show there. And then there was an ampersand and then do a space. Do a space as well. No, that's not the problem.
Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a hard time hearing you as well. I don't
Sorry, yeah, no, I moved my headpiece up when I had a drink of coffee. My bad. Thanks for letting me know. Well, what did we set it up against? So what we might have to do. So
Let me just.
Does that come through? Because what we might do then is do because that is really crazy. Then, like, we can't access Facebook, and then the Instagram password is chopped. So let me see. Actually, at my end, because that's strange. Because I don't know if I went in. Often I'll check it, but I don't know that I did that with. Oh, it's annoying. I've got an ankle grinder going away on outside my house. It's much more preferable when there's birds chirping.
Sorry, I'm just looking in Blair's emails as well because he said he sent himself an email with all of the passwords. I'll double check that's.
Yeah, well, that setup one is the correct one. So and we updated Instagram Instagram. I think we had to update one of them. We created, I believe, but at least one, maybe two. Just gonna have a try at my end.
Yeah.
Particularly when we've created them, it's not going to be a drama. It's just a matter. We'll be able to get it back. It's just a matter of doing forgot password. But yeah, so I can see here that the password Blair used when he was copying and pasting, because even in the write up, I said to him, I'll need to double check that for Publer because I wasn't able to sign in. The password seems like it's different.
Okay.
So I think when he was copying and pasting, so maybe we do need to look at his little list. Go back into Basecamp and so if you go to Basecamp and at the top where on the here. Actually, no, it's the other one. Sorry, go to the one to the right next to LinkedIn.
Fun.
And see in here, did he copy? See what has he written? So that password there, is that the same as the password that I've got? So just copy that.
Very similar, but let's try.
Sort of looks the same, right? So
it looks the same.
So I think we're going to have to go forgot password and get it
Okay.
sent through because clearly it's been pasted in. So just for now, and just put the BU lawyers, or actually just check that we had we definitely had the URL right, didn't we? BU
BU lawyers, yeah.
That's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah. And so go send login. It'll say where it gets sent to, I think. Okay, I'm not a robot. That's okay. Yeah. Next. Okay, so it's sent to that, right? Do you have access to that?
I do.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting lots of emails to say, we've noticed a login to your account from a new device.
Right, yeah.
There we go. Reset. It's letting me log in, but I assume we need to reset the password.
Yeah, but I reckon if we just copy and paste what we thought the password was, that should be we should be okay. Go new password and use the one we thought it was.
I don't actually know.
Just double check that, yeah. So
I'll copy.
Okay, happy days. So turn on. Actual fact, if you've got access as well, so you click on the top right next to the heart there, yeah, and go profile. And the next thing I'll do is we will talk about. I say bring Instagram to the left of Twitter, maybe as well. And we signed into Twitter, okay, didn't we?
Yeah,
We had
Twitter.
no
We didn't.
problem with Twitter, so it's really weird. Let's go to back to Basecamp because, as I said, I made that note for myself that I couldn't sign into Publer. So I'll get you to right click on the Publer created down below. It says underneath everything else, underneath YouTube. Yeah, go and open that in a new tab. And we just need to put in the email which was underneath it. I think it said
yeah, Blair.
so Blair at. So yeah. Okay, so we need to go the same thing here, forgot password. Whatever he copied and pasted, something was not quite right here. So so we'll do the same thing as we just did in in Instagram.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can just right click whatever link they give you and then just paste it into here, copy link, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh yeah, there. It's actually telling you straight away. Yep. So let's go paste and paste. Okay, happy days. We can drag Publer all the way to the far right. And then we can close the other one. Yep. So I'm glad that actually, in some ways, it was probably good that that happened. It still doesn't answer the question, how the hell am I not on the Facebook page? But in this last sort of 10 minutes before Blair joins us, let's go to Twitter first. In fact, we're going to go Twitter, Instagram. We can't do anything on Facebook until we've got access. So that's going to be, it may well be that I just missed the invite. It's crazy. Anyway, let's go. So if you go and click on profile for me, up, sorry, yeah, there. And so what I'll get you to do is, so you can see at the moment, so clearly this is brand new, this Twitter account. What we want to do is follow things that are geographically relevant and industry strategic, right? So we want to follow. So in the search Twitter, you might type. Well, let's start with just typing in Melbourne, and then just go enter. Any problem? And let's go people. Click on people up the top rather than latest. So yeah, go people there. And so it doesn't hurt. You can follow up to 2,000 things. So things like Nine News, City of Melbourne, ABC Melbourne. You can follow all of those. That's fine. Please verify your account. Continue. Thanks, human. Geez, all of them now are getting wary of. Yeah, so let's do it a different way. Let's actually do what you're doing. Now, Melbourne that gave us plenty of the media outlets and that sort of thing. So let's do that to start with. And it clearly does the more higher priority. Yeah, so ABC.
And keep going with any more of
Yeah,
those?
yeah, yeah. Keep going, keep going. I don't think it'll stop you again. Comedy festival, maybe. Um, Again, Melbourne Racing Club. There's probably a few people that will work with you. Melbourne MCG. Who doesn't love the I don't know if he's a member, but um, right. So then let's do Vic Legal. What's the legal? So do in search up the top. Let's go with yeah. What isn't there a Victoria Legal or something like that? What's the association? Is there association of lawyers?
Law Institute of Victoria.
Yeah, something like that. Yep. Yep. So I'd be following them, but also click on Law Institute of Victoria. And then the shortcut way is to look at who they're following. If you go 689, and then potentially you got Victorian Bar, you've probably got some other things that are relevant as you come down, go down the page. So it's a lot of legal sort of stuff, right? So then the other things might be the law courts themselves, if they've got it, Supreme Court.
Magistrates Court.
Lawyers Weekly looks like it's a media one. So you can see how if you can find relevant things, it takes all the thinking out for you, right? Again, on Twitter, Instagram, and to some degree Facebook, but mainly Twitter and Instagram, the only way you're going to grow a following, it's all B2B, and it's going to be by following others. So the more others you follow that are active, the more you'll get their attention and the more that will follow you back, right? So you can follow up to 2,000 things. And it's stuff that I do when my brain's fried by the end of the day or whatever. It's not quality thinking time. It's just basically going and I do it actually on the phone. It's pretty much the same, but you can almost do it in between on ad breaks or whatever. You know what I mean? If you're watching TV or whatever it might well be. It's worth doing, right? Basically, because as I said, the only investment is an investment in time to follow others. So again, probably for you and Blair, the challenge might be, set yourself. I think he asked me last time what sort of targets, right? So even if you follow 50 more people every month, then you kind of know that in time you'll be following 1,000, and by rights, you'll be getting their attention, and places like the Law Institute of Victoria should be following you back. That's the whole idea. Yeah? Because they go, oh, who's these guys? Right. So then the other thing is key areas. So again, recognizing that construction is important. So if you go in up the top in the search Twitter, you go construction maybe, and so click on people again. Although again, that's not maybe what's the there's like the Vic Building Institute or Vic what's the associate? Yeah, yeah, cool. There you go.
Well, that's the school. There we go.
Yeah, so give them a follow, and then you can see again 601, right? So there may well be a lot of relevant things in there, even energy safe, EPA, a lot of that sort of stuff that plays to risk and work safe. That's the other master builders, clearly. In fact, master builders would be another good one for you to go in and then just follow a lot of the ones that maybe are following them. Easy enough?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do the same now on Instagram. Instagram, because it's a Facebook product, is even more worried about trolls. So effectively with Instagram, bit like Facebook, it's happy for you to do about 20 at a time. But if you do more than that, it'll go slow down, tiger, and it might kick you out, and you might have to log back in, sort of thing. So if it does that, that's enough for the day, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't do it, right? So it's the only way you're going to generally get people to follow back. Who's going to follow a law company otherwise? Unless you get their attention in the first place. You need to throw a stone on their window so that they then basically get their attention, yeah?
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the Law Institute, maybe, is a good place to start. And then again, you can see they're following 257. So you go to them.
There's not as many.
Yeah, often what it'll be is probably the best ones are often at the bottom. because that's who they were looking to follow to start with, and then potentially what they're doing here is following back some key people, yeah, because it could be individual lawyers and stuff like that, I imagine, and maybe even members if it's a membership.
Yeah.
And again, you don't want to be following your competitors. That it doesn't. I mean, if they're aligned, I mean, I think the thing is that from what Blair said, often in legal, it's kind of there's a bit of collaborative, isn't there? In certain ones, if they're too big or if they're or too small, whichever way, or not specialist, So I guess it's all about sort of working out, what's the relationship look like. Yeah, I mean, many companies, depending on how they're using, they may well have set the Instagram and Twitter pages up and they've never looked back at them, right? So they often people use social media sites like websites, which is a bit pointless because your website's the best website, right? But it does effectively give you 6 landing pages from what we've created, right, including YouTube, which we don't post to as such. So that's Law Institute. That's one that will be a good maybe just for ourselves, if we go back to Basecamp and just make those 3 points, right? So scroll down the bottom underneath. So maybe it's a point 4. So yeah, LinkedIn.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Remember what each thing's
Oh yeah.
for.
I do remind you about some of that stuff. So I guess on Facebook, we note you can invite people to Facebook the same way you can invite people to Facebook and LinkedIn. So basically, once you're connected to them, is probably the thing to remember. Invite connections to like pages. Yep, and then clearly the first thing we've got to do is invite Kate, a Facebook page. Need to re-invite Katie and Steve. In fact, it's Katie and Stephen. Yep, so that's okay. Then the next thing under 6, we'll do B2B connections on Twitter and Instagram. Noting the following of the Law Institute was one of the key ones for you. And then the other one, that was a really good one that you did around the building authority.
Yeah.
Because it looks like, I mean, there's hundreds on both of those, right? So there's many are going to be relevant. And when you're done on the who are they following, because that was a lot less than who was following them, remember. You could potentially look at who's following them as well, right? So often there could be things in, because again, it just depends how active they are. They might not follow back, just might be too busy or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So, as I said, hopefully our next step is let's just see. I'm going to see if I can search the and find the invite that maybe actually I'll probably be wasting my time. Just maybe are we able to send him a little text and just see if he's far away?
Yeah, no problem. Let me
that would be good.
Good. He texted me a couple of questions. So I'll send him a text and then maybe run through the questions that he texted.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I've just sent him a quick text, so I'll see what he comes back with.
No worries. So, what are the questions? So, yeah, you can type them in here if you like, and I can respond to them.
Okay.
two questions.
Hang on, he's calling me. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Hi, Blair. That's okay. Yeah, good, thanks. How are you? Mm-hmm. Hang on, I might just put you on speaker, and because I've got Steve on the Zoom, and then he can chat to you. Sorry.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Blair, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And yourself? How's it going?
I'm close to perfect.
Good to hear. How's all the stuff going this morning? Are you able to make progress with Katie and without me?
I think we've made good progress, but we do have a couple of hurdles without you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So hurdle number one is neither of us seem to be associated with the page, and so I'm wondering whether I either didn't accept that the invite to follow it, or we never sent me an invite to follow it. So, sorry, to be on the Facebook admin page as an admin on the page. So both Katie and I need to be admins, and that was the first thing I was going to kind of ask you if we can, even if you're able to jump in and I can show you how to do that, so that we're able to do that. Yeah, so that's the biggest issue. We were able to rectify, for some reason, the password, because I know we changed. I think maybe we changed certain passwords, but anyway, we've updated to the passwords on Instagram and Publer to what we thought the passwords were. So we had to do a sort of forgot password, and we've got them up and running again now. But so we've worked through LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, well, and to some degree Facebook. But now we need to get access to the Facebook page and create the Facebook administration. Oh, sorry, the ads manager side of things. And we just need to be able to access that. But I guess the question is, yeah, are you going to be able to join us, or what's up?
I can do, yep. It's just I'm pressured from a time perspective.
Yep.
What should we do as far as me getting on the call? Can we just do it over the phone like this, or do I need to log into the
You'd probably just so I could talk you through it, or I mean, realistically, if you've got your laptop in front of you, it's easy.
I'm at the computer. I'm just working on a client thing. So why don't I just jump in now and see how quick we can do it? I'll have to drop out after that. So do I just accept that meeting? Oh, no, I just click on...
Just go to whereby link, and then we'll see you in a second, I reckon. If you go whereby/Steve, yep, so...
It's just loading now.
Cool.
I'll see you in a sec.
No worries.
Thanks, bye.
So, what were the questions? Oh, here he comes now. He can ask them personally. So, well, given your time pressure, good day, sir. Good to see you.
No sound. Hold on. Let me see.
We better keep speaking there so you can make sure you can hear us or not. Test one. Test two. One.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good to see you. Whereabouts are you? That looks like you could be in a pizza shop or something. Where are you?
I had to drop my car into Gorin.
Oh, really?
I'm at home today.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yeah, I had some problems with my vehicle, so I'm not in the office. How are you, Katie?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Katie's a champion. She's been good. It's been good to work with Katie this morning. We've I know much more about Katie, and she probably knows a bit more about me than we knew an hour or so ago. So we're doing really well. What we probably can do, so you can see what we kind of work through a couple of things, just some of the notes that Katie's made. But what I might get you to do, Katie, in fact, I'll get Blair to share his screen, and then you can unshare yours for now. And then we'll just go in and see why it is that it's possibly something that I was remiss of connecting myself to the page on the other day. So are you able to share your screen yet, Blair? That's what you're doing?
Yeah, I've had to disable my monitors, so it just shares.
No worries, that's all good. So click on the tab next to where we are, and just go Facebook for me. Even if you just type Facebook in, it should probably bring up. Oh, there you go. Yeah, click it up the top one. Perfect.
Yeah, well, they're all saved there. I thought that was a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so that's loading now, I think.
Yep. What's wrong with the car?
Oh, the brakes have gone.
No,
but
it's not good.
I ride a bike around, an electric bike, and the kids get on the back. So I don't use the car much at all.
There you go.
But the other day I nearly got hit by Goran. He opened the door of a car and I was riding past and I was like, hey, and then I was like, oh, it's you.
Oh, there you go. Bumped into him, literally.
Reminded me to see him. How did things go yesterday? All good?
Yeah, it was great actually yesterday. Really enjoyable. Did you have a case on or something?
Yeah. It's been just manic, and it's not just normal stuff. It's like everything should have been done is hanging around, has to be done before Christmas, and it has to be done. So
I
I
hear
don't
you.
know.
I'm in exactly the same boat. And I remember thinking when we booked in the times, I'm like, we're both going to be really busy this week,
I know.
And
I'm glad we've done it though, because in January it would take a bit of a lag time.
yeah, I
And
think we're going well. So let's get this, let's go back to our point around what we were saying. Go back to Facebook where you just were. So click back on that for me. Where was that? So just on,
this
there we
one.
are. Yeah, now down on the left-hand side, scroll to the bottom and go settings. And I swear we did this, but I just mustn't have accepted the invitation. So, and then on the left-hand side, underneath advanced messaging, it's got page roles. Click on that one for me. And then scroll down a little bit further and see how it's got pending. What I want you to do is cancel and just re-invite me because I never accepted it. So that's a rookie mistake at my end.
Submit.
Yep. And now let's do Katie first. In fact, let's just type in Katie. Just cross out me, and let's get Katie connected too. So cross that out. Katie space. You might have to identify which one's you, Katie.
I might have also.
Yeah, actually, we went to do this for you, Katie, and I wasn't sure which one you were.
That's okay. Yeah, because my
Well, you can.
I may have set my settings. Sorry, I might have set my settings that you can't look me up unless.
Yeah. So why don't you send?
I'll do you first.
Yeah,
Steve.
do me. Yeah, so Stephen. Actually, there I am, Stephen G. Yeah, that fella there. Yeah, and give me admin. Yeah, if you can, just give me admin on it. I think that's what we probably messed around with, and I probably got confused. And go there, and you'll have to put your password like you just did again. So go add. Me and Katie are actually connected now, so I'll be able to invite her too once I've accepted. So
does that mean you'll be sent something now?
Yeah, I've just got that. It's come through to me now. Yep. Let me just go in and accept.
And can you see yourself there, Katie, or it's not coming up, or is it too small?
I mean, it's pretty small, but I don't think.
You know what? I should be able to find Katie though now. So give me 1 second, and let's work it the other way and see if let me just have a look, Katie, because we just connected, right? So so by rights, I should definitely be able to see Katie. I imagine if I'm connected to you, would you think so, Katie?
You would assume.
You'd assume so, right? Yeah.
I'm in my settings. I've changed all my privacy, so you should be able to find me.
Yeah. You don't want to make yourself. I was sort of explaining, Blair, how a lot of the more mature business person typically uses Facebook a bit the same way as they probably should be using LinkedIn. But we did have the conversation that a lot of young people nowadays are quite sensitive around what they share as well on the social medias. So yeah, I've now been added, so that's great. Now, Katie, when I put in Katie Gale, let's see. And I've got friends since September, so I can see there's like a little. You must be standing in front of a theatre or something, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
That's the one. And I'm going to give you admin too. So don't make the same mistake as me. Go and accept that admin straight away.
Will that have been sent to whichever email?
That'll just come to your notifications on Facebook. Okay. So go to notifications up the top, and you should see it.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Now, Blair, how long can you spend with us?
Yeah, look, just as much as you need me, really, I just have to get a letter done.
The key thing that I want to get sorted while you're here with us is really the ads manager side of things. The rest of the stuff, we've recorded this meeting. I've sort of recorded as if I'm talking to you as well as Katie. I think Katie will agree. And I said that you're the sort of person, I know you'll do your homework. You will go back and have a listen and have a look, right? Because there's a couple of things in there that may be a homework for you. But yeah, if we
say
yep.
10 minutes, because we've got a
10,
call,
good.
Katie. Yeah.
Okay, scroll across to the bring Facebook. Actually, in fact, just open a new tab for me next to whereby, and maybe drag whereby to the far left. So we've got them both together. So yeah, drag it to the left. That's a new tab. Sorry, the left. Yeah, your other left.
And what do you want?
And what I want you to have in here, just type in Facebook again. I reckon you went into Ads Manager at one point, but there you go. See, Manage Ads Campaigns. Can I get you to click on that one? It's about the fourth down.
That one?
Yep. Maybe because I told you to do that once before. And this is where we got that block, right? I have a feeling.
Oh, yeah, we saved this in...
Okay. Confirm identity. So we had to get you to do that, right? Restricted from secure. We've already done that. So just close that. And scroll down and accept. Just go, I accept. Thanks for accepting, right? We are restricted from advertising. I have no idea why that is. I can't believe that a lawyer would do anything wrong. Okay, so continue. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Continue.
I think there was something there before that we clicked on confirm identity.
Yeah, we've already done that because you already put in, I think, your ID, right? So click on that.
It says here, continue request, confirm your...
Yeah, continue. Continue that, yeah. No, we've already done that, right? So you did that last time.
Do you remember?
So, yeah, you've done that. So what I might do is, can I get you to just close that for now? I'm actually slightly tempted to do a workaround. So click on that top, on the top right. So can I get you to, I wonder if it's got something to do with authentication, when you have to do druids. But where it says Blair McNamara and it's got 609 in the brackets, there's a drop down next to your icon, next to campaigns. And see, there's only one account associated with it as well. I'm fairly sure we made that note. The thing is, the issue for me is you can't add me because you're blocked, right?
So what should we do to get me access? Is there another way other than through here?
Through the business manager is often the way, right? So click on the three lines on. So can I get you to because I know that you're going to be able to bring them up. Can I just get you to open another tab for me, a plus tab? Well, the other workaround is maybe to try and do it from Katie's end and do it as a business profile. And do it as a business profile using it that way, right? Because then we can work around you. The only thing is, because Katie and I have only just been added, is whether it'll let us do it as admins that have only just come on, right?
I understand. Do you want me to just give my access to Katie? Give my login?
No, well, I think that's, as I said, because you've got this issue, you're restricted from advertising for reasons unbeknown, right? So I think that we still could have that same issue. So I'll just get you to stop sharing for a second for me. And what I'll do is get Katie to go back to sharing because she's got her notes from the session. So if you want to share, Katie, and she's got everything open as well. So what I might get you to do, Blair, is actually, I think we copied and pasted it last time, but just click on the Katie in the middle of where we've got Basecamp. We've got that right up on the left-hand side, right? At the middle one, yeah, that middle one there. Set up. Did we Facebook ads created? Blair has. Can I get you, Blair, on that ads manager page? Can I just get you to copy that URL and put it in the chat here? Yep. So it's in the chat on Whereby. Yep. So Katie, you should be able to copy that URL on Web. So if you go back to Whereby, you'll see what Blair's just pasted there, right? So where's our Whereby? Actually, I think Whereby is on a different screen, isn't it?
Oh yeah, hang on. There we go. Katie's
very good. She's got 2 screens for us. So this won't open for you. What I was going to get you to do is that'll just say well, actually, let's see what it does say. I assume it's not going to let you in. That's very weird. That is very weird. Go, I accept. That's too weird. Yeah, close that one. That might be the easiest workaround ever.
Oh yeah, that's looking exactly the same as mine. With
but it's not got a blocked on it, right? And it's working under Katie Gale, which is we're not going to. We're going to create the business account. Can I get you to go back to Basecamp and the one we've got the notes, Katie? Next to LinkedIn, it's the one.
Yep.
Yeah, and underneath there, you still have, yes, let's go FB Ads Manager and just paste that link again. Yeah, okay. Cool. That is too weird though, because I have no idea. That's the link. I wonder if that's still the link. Just by out of interest, go to the far right hand side again and click on that Ads Manager, or whether it actually gave you a new link. 208. Is it 208? Is that what it was ending on Blair's as well?
Let me have a look.
Yeah, no. It's open a new Facebook Ads Manager. Okay, so underneath, copy your Facebook Ads Manager. So you could, so you could basically write Blair. That's the Blair one where we're blocked. So yeah, we just say Blair blocked. So yeah, so Katie, and then we'll kind of work backward. Now we're going to create the business manager, and we'll put we'll put Blair in, right? So let's go to the if we can. So we know that's the ads manager we could potentially use, but we're not going to. Out of interest, Katie, just click on the drop down arrow up the top next to campaigns, up the top middle. It's got that number 208, a bit higher, where it's got campaigns on the right hand side.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. So that is you've only got the one as well. So now go to the little hamburger next to campaigns on the left hand side. Yeah, and can I get you to go business settings underneath? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so because you've got your writing ones as well,
they're pretty inactive. They were for a uni assignment, so they don't get used.
Okay, yeah. So what we want to do though, I think okay. So what we might want to do, is there a way of actually creating another business on this one? Because I am mindful of. Just click on where it says Katie and Brittany on the drop down there for me. Yeah, the easiest way to do it would be actually just to rename it and actually bring us all in there. Are either of those page active in any way? Do anything?
I think Brittany may still use them.
Okay. Yeah, that's not ideal.
Yeah, sorry. They were initially a uni assignment. They make us.
Yeah. There must be a way of adding other. Let's do. We can't put it under Katie and Brittany though, because that's not ideal. Is possibly a workaround that I could put it under where I create it with the ad account. I'm trying to think best way to do this. Right. Let's go. Now you've accepted. Can I get you to? Let's do something else. Because the other thing is, I'm just remembering that Blair, remember when he added this, there was already a company business page sitting above it, which is also going to create an issue. So Blair, can I get you to do me a favour? And sorry, Katie. Yeah, this is probably not going to be a great workaround because we can't. One of the things, have we not had anything in there? What we could have done is shortcutted it and gone, okay. By rights, we could actually add the. Actually, if you just go to, that's one thing that we could do. If you go to add accounts on the left-hand side where it's got pages and go add accounts, we already added what it was. So Britzy, it's got, you don't have any ad accounts, right? So that's what we could have done, is added it into here and used that as an ad account. But we'd have to create a new one, and I'm not going to create a new one into Katie and Brittany. Can I just get you to stop sharing for a second?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get Blair. Can I get you to share one more time for me?
Yep.
And Blair, just get you to go back to your ads manager, and then on the left-hand side, underneath the hamburger, can I get you to click on that? Yeah, the hamburger there, and I'll get. Yes, actually, that's interesting. Just go, yeah. So, and then go business settings underneath brand safety. Oh, okay, and there.
Oh, okay, same thing.
Yep. Now, remember we tried to add me in here last time, right? But it wouldn't let us. So again, can I get you to copy this business Facebook up the top? Copy that URL, put it into the chat again in Whereby, and then Kate, I'll get you to paste that into our thing. So the issue at the moment we have is that you can't, in fact, and then click on, because then we also had the issue with it not being able to add the page in, right? So when you go on your so go back to business settings. Sorry, Blair. Click on so we can see that if you type in a name up the top, but just go Stephen G. Yeah, and it's not doing anything, right? Underneath, so yeah, you can't. So you're not able to add people, right? So underneath accounts, just click on pages. We can see that the pages and the Instagram is already there. Okay, here we go. So at least not in business account. So let's just go invite to business account. Woohoo! And give, yep, admin access. Oh, this is good. This is good. And then that's what happened though. Remember? We couldn't do it. Why won't it let us do that?
Do I need to enter the email address?
No. She's already, so it's basically telling us that you should be able to do it, right? So can I get you to do the same for, so you'll have the same issue for me. You don't need to do it because she's already there. And if you went to me, it would be the same, right? And if you went to Paula, it would be the same. Yeah. You just go admin access and it's there, right? I'll get you to go, yeah, okay. So we've got that business.
So do I not just add your email in there and it'll light up next?
No, it'll have the same issue, but you could try, go marketer at Dify Social. But I think we tried last time. Go next, yeah. Okay, and then go classic pages on the left. Yeah, and click on Brockhill. And on the right hand side, scroll down to admin all the way down. You go manage page. Oh, you're a genius, Blair. Oh no, invitation is not sent. You're a genius, but it's not working, right? So
user cannot be added to the business. Please try resending.
So click on contact support for me. Actually, is there scroll down all the way to the bottom? Because I think I'm going to have to probably start a case for you, right? So basically talk to Facebook ads, but that's not getting you to support. So just go back a page for me because this is no good. If you go, get you to go into the hamburger on the top left again, and I'll get you to go right click on the ads manager up the top. Sorry, up the top, go right click, open new tab in new tab. Yep. Yeah. And then go no ads accounts to show here. Okay, go to business settings. Yeah, click on that. But then it's gonna. Okay. So can I get you to again just copy this this link, yeah, and just paste that in for Brittany. And what we got to make a note, Brittany, is that sorry, Brittany. Who's Brittany?
That's okay.
Did I read Brittany somewhere on? There was Katie and Brittany.
Yeah.
Is it one of
so
your
weird.
uni colleagues? Is it, Katie?
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm doing journalism with her.
Sorry, Katie. You can see how quick it takes me. It doesn't take me long to get thrown off. What? So the thing there is, Katie and Steve can't be added to the business manager. Blair unable to add into ads manager, right? But we've got the two links. Yeah. So what and then while I've got you, just to see if I'm able to so the other thing is actually I'm going to put something in here, and I'm just going to put it into I don't think you're able to add anything. So if you go edit on the top right here, Blair, on the right hand side, go edit. And remember, I don't think were you able to update the little so try typing in Brockhill in the page up the top. Remember, it didn't. No, not there. No, leave that there. Be a bit lawyers is okay. Well, you can change it, but underneath it's got primary page. Just type into primary page and type in Brockhill for us. Click on that. And then go save while we've got it. Cool. And then go edit up the top again. Actually, you've got a bit to do on here. I thought we did all this. So put in your little, you can do the little arrow on that left-hand side. Put in your icon. I think you've got that somewhere, right? If you wish to do that. You're probably not wanting. In fact, the only reason I'm saying you to do it is because we could do it if we could access it, but we can't at the moment. So
what are you saying to put in there?
just put your logo. Just the one on the right. Yeah, that's it. Yep. And then the rest of it, I would put down. I just go and edit your just the name of the business all the way down to ABN. Put an ABN in there as well and save that. I have a feeling last time we weren't necessarily able to do this, right? While you're doing that, I'm just going to see if I can get to the Facebook help. And
do you
then,
mean here? Yeah.
Yeah, just go edit on the right-hand side there. And just if you can complete those details, and then I'm going to go into Ads Manager. In the post. Okay.
So you want ABN in there?
Yeah, put your AB in. That would be great. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Why doesn't it save?
Business profile. Business number probably needs a 61 in front of it. That's that right hand side. See, it's not accepting your phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's American, they won't know that that's the. So sometimes it's because it probably auto filled. It's worth taking off any autofill. Yeah, try that. There you go. Awesome. All right. So because it becomes a bit of our last hurrah, what I'm going to do, you can stop sharing that now, Blair, because I think that's going to finish up becoming circuitous. You won't be able to get us on, and I remember that from last time. So we do have that sort of issue around the business manager and the ads manager. So what I'll do, often this can be rectified relatively quickly. Often, at least you can start the inquiry quickly. I'm just going to share my screen, right, and then normally what I would have liked, but the talk through would be too. It's going to take me too long to explain it to you, and I'm going to try and make this as big as I can. But essentially, you can see that I've kind of gone through this contact support team, right? So on the right hand side, I'm just using my account. Oh, why is it saying that one? Okay, let's see if Cool. Here we go. That's good. Facebook page. What's the issue for Brockhill? We basically other page issue. Okay. Well, wait time on chat is 19 minutes, right? But anyway. God. So what we'll do, because effectively what the intent of doing this is, it says it's going to take that long. It won't take that long for the chat to start. But what I'll do is I'll just need to go into dialogue with them just to explain the issue. They'll put it to their tech support. I'll explain the issue that we want to set up the ads manager. We want to put me and Katie in here, and that we want to be able to commence advertising, which is kind of generally the magic words they want to hear. And so we'll basically say we can't do that until we've got access for other people, right? And we'll also need to explain that you've already, in fact, a bit of.
But when initially we're not doing advertising.
We're not going to do it before Christmas, but anyway, yeah. But we kind of want to be in a position where we can. You don't have to tell them everything, Blair.
How much do you want to do of that?
Well, what we normally recommend to people is that you do an awareness and traffic. So, what most people started is $5 a day, right? So you either split it 2 and 3 for awareness and advertising. The idea being is that they're all the new people that don't know you at the moment. So unless you're advertising, those people will never know of you. So we need to. The other main thing is at the moment we can't create your pixel until I have access to your business page. We can't create your saved audience until I have access to your business manager, right?
Okay. I have to get going in a sec. So how do we measure if it's working or not? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, we report basically. So the idea is at the moment is we basically say, well, we've set up all these pages. We're posting across the channels. I've explained a little bit to Katie around the organic reach is actually really good on LinkedIn, better than Facebook. So there's some homework that you need to do. And then we sort of say how the ads is working, right? So ultimately it's about getting as many people seeing your your posts in their feed, particularly the advertised one, right? So if you've got an issue, blah blah blah, contact us today, and then basically for me, what then I get and I send that to you, right? So we're doing that every second month, reporting around what's actually happening. So if you're not going to advertise in the first place, those numbers are going to be relatively low, right? Until you start advertising realistically. At the moment, the people that are going to see your post is a certain amount of the people that are already following your pages. Now, some of those pages are brand new, so there's not that many people following them, right? But yeah, the measure of it is basically how many people are seeing that, but then how many people, by way of the flares, are going to the website to find out more, and then that's the only measure I can tell, right? Because then Facebook tells me how many people are going from the social media to the website.
Okay, and so
Yep.
what do you need to do to get this access going? Is there anything? Just let me know if there's something I need to do to get the.
Well, I got to tell you, I love it when people bring me problems like this. It's actually a real pain in the ass when, in actual fact, when we try and set them up and there is an outstanding issue, because it does realistically, it's kind of becomes unpaid time for me because it's trying to rectify an issue that's not of
Just
my
let me.
making. So at the moment, I think I can get it done by just, as I said, creating a case for us where I explain the situation, and I'm not, and just being wary. So that's what this does. This is what this chat is going to do. It'll then hopefully create an email thread that more often than not. Sorry, I've got an ankle grinder going out the front of my place today, which is annoying. But more often than not, they're kind of like, "Oh, we apologise for the issues. That's now been rectified, right?" Because I'll explain that you've sent your ID in. I'll explain
Yep.
your business and
Yep.
that sort of stuff, and we should be able to
Yep.
get it rectified in this
Yep.
week by
Yep.
all
Yep.
things. Yep.
Yep. So just let us know if you need us to do anything.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't let Katie off the call yet because there's a couple of things I need to make in the notes. That basically what we still need to do. Because this has sort of taken up time that we would have otherwise
Yeah.
been spending
Just
on the
just
session.
let
Yeah.
me know if you want me to do something with
Yeah.
Facebook.
I'll do the write up. Yeah, and I'll let you know. So from the write up, Blair, you'll get the details of any homework that you have and any issues that we're still resolving, and if there's any ways that you can help. But I think you've done what you can in the first place because last time we did it, right? We on the hope that it would rectify because you sent through your driver's license already. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that write up,
well,
and I'll be
I
sure to let
didn't
you know.
I didn't send just my license. It was with
Oh,
the
yeah, through you
passport,
both.
and it was an old one, and so I don't know if it's worth trying that again. Is what I suppose I'm suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can send it through again, but I'm going to tell them that you've already done that.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, you just let me know if it's an issue like that I need to do. We'll jump on it.
Yeah. No
So
worries. That's it.
now with the month to month thing, is that Katie had some questions for you because I just dropped them to her because I
Yeah.
wasn't sure I was going to make it. The other one, in addition to those questions, was SEO. Whether I should be doing that at this time as well.
Uh, I would bed this down in the first place, and then you want to talk to an SEO specialist potentially if you want to do the other side of
Okay,
things. Yeah.
late. Okay, so it doesn't need to
Yeah.
be done in advance of
That,
this.
that No, they work well together. Often people apportion spend, but the other thing is, you already spoke to Wes at one point, right? So he talks about a little bit around sort of, the SEO capabilities of your website. So, but certainly I can recommend you people if you want to talk to about SEO as well. So,
Okay. Yeah, my
yeah,
question's just around timing.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
the answer is no, it doesn't need to be done first.
yeah.
And then what about the website guy? Do I need to do something there now?
Oh, well, I think I gave you some instructions, yeah, around from the setup. There's certainly some things that are advantageous if you can do those icons and links and stuff. So if you go back, or maybe Katie has a revisit of that, I basically have asterisked and provided details of what we'd like you to do from the setup session to make the improve the website, basically.
Okay, so where's Towers, is it?
Yeah.
No. Who
So
was the fellow?
Yeah. So that was from the original one. Yeah. So Wes Towers was that contact. Yeah. Just in terms of just some of those improvements. I mean, you can simply probably forward almost that first email on that I sent you, right? If if you want to go that way, but maybe you can.
Sorry, who was the website guy you
recommended? It was Wes
recommended?
Towers, yeah. So that was early doors, yeah.
So I wrote to, just as a recap, I think I wrote to Wes and said, can we do something? He gave me a proposal. I said, it's all good.
Yeah.
And my understanding was he'd just liaise with you. So I thought it was already happening. So do I need to write to him and tell him what to do, or just tell him to do what he knows to do?
Yeah, he'd need to know the links and stuff. I can send him something. I'll just redo it if you like. So yeah. So I didn't know that's the case. Yeah, normally, I don't act as that sort of. Yeah.
I thought you discussed you'd speak to him. So do you want me to pass on something in particular to him?
Yeah, so it's basically just have a reread of this. In fact, I'll stop sharing. You've got your screen open, right? So all you really need to do is copy and paste and send him this is all the links, right? So basically, can we now do as you said? But really, yeah.
Katie, can you set that up? Wes Towers is in my email.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me an invoice.
Yeah.
I always find it odd when people send invoices before they do work. But
really?
Anyway, he sent me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's illegal to charge someone for something before you've done it. But Anyway, we do it by payment into our trust account in advance, and then it's the client's money before we take it.
Yeah. We'll save your time. I can speak to Katie about what needs to go to Wes. That's fine. So it's realistically just on the setup thing. Yep.
He's in my emails, and he sent me a invoice or something, and I wanted to know that he knew what to do first. So just maybe check if he might know exactly what to do, Katie. He seemed to be.
Yeah. Me and Wes have worked on probably 100 clients together. So yeah.
Then maybe it was from his side, not yours, that he knew what to do, because he said something along he knew what to do. I figured you'd spoken to him about mine, but maybe he just meant he knows generally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't speak about initial. So because often, whilst I have worked with him on plenty, it's mainly because we refer one another quite a lot, and so I don't assume people, because even with yourself, I think you said you had, you've got the keys to your own website, and people often have their other website relationships, and so I don't sort of force Wes or anybody else on them, but basically he's just a resource because I know he's good and he's reasonable.
I'm happy to work with who you know, and then it assists. So okay, so we'll do that. What about? So we'll just start processing this month to month, see how we go. What if it's not working? I just want to make sure we're not committing for 12 or 24 months here, are we?
No, you're not locked in at all. And so realistically, most of the reporting is done for me to see whether it's working optimally.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. And the other thing is most reporting, a bit like the setup and planning, I know people are busy, but in the reporting, I'm sort of telling people what they could be doing to make it better, right? So I've already said to Katie, understanding you're busy, your time's worth more than probably spending too much time on social media.
No, I just can't do it 9 to 5.
That's right. So, but what you'll find, in the same way as the write-ups, I do always explain to people what they can do to help them, help me, help us. You know what I mean? So it's all about that. So, so there's that element at times people just have that sense, oh, Steve does it. And I'll get a whatever optimal can be as a marketer running a business and not the owner then spreading the tentacles. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah. So
how will you send us this information? Will it be through email, or will it be through your
Basecamp? So it's just a monthly. It's just comes through Basecamp every second month, basically.
Is it possible to give it to us in an email? Because a
Basecamp generates an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it'll say go to Basecamp and then find it in there.
You can go to Basecamp, or you can simply just reply to the email. Okay. Yeah. So once you reply to the email, that also stores it into Basecamp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just we get so many logins for so many different systems. It's easier to receive things in an email.
Yeah. Oh, they all come. Everything that we send to you will come via email. It's just up to you how you want to go and read it. So you get it in the first place. Even though setup session, you would have got that as an email. So it all comes as an email as well. And as you said, many people don't then even go back to Basecamp. They'll just respond to the email they've received. Yep.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, thank you, Steve. I'll wait to. When will you do the first reporting?
It's actually not due now until probably that first week in February, basically, which in some ways will probably work out for you. Probably timely, given I don't think you're probably going to be running any ads until that time anyway. So to give us a base from where we know we're at with the uh, with the posting schedule and how that goes, and you'll be able to see what that looks like and get a better understanding of what that looks like, remembering it's across 5 different channels. And then we'll have a bit of an understanding of what then is going to happen. So effectively, what it generally means is you go from hundreds of people seeing your posts each month to tens of thousands of people when you start putting a dollar on it.
And one thing I don't understand is exactly what you are posting. Are we just going to talk about that on a case-by-case basis and approve each post?
No. I'd never be able to do it. I'm going to take publicly accessible information, and that's the next thing. And in fact, I was going to talk to Katie about that if we had that bit of time in between. But yeah, we're going to still talk about that. We have a habit of posts, right? So we talk about, it might be stuff we take from the homepage. It might be specific services that you provide. It may be testimony. And so we do 3 posts a week. Or in fact, I think when we talked about, I thought we talked about this. On a Monday and a Friday, we're going to talk about you and what you do and why you're awesome, and where you can find out more information and book a service and do what you need to do, a telephone call, that sort of stuff. So we always do a post and how you can find out more and how you can book stuff, right? So we always bookend it with basically the contact details and hashtags so that you can actually find out more information. And then, and I just take that from the website. It's called repurposing, right?
Yep. And when does that start?
Yeah, and I'm going to start that tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
so the other thing that we do midweek is we go in your news feed for Facebook, and we try and get the attention of strategic others, and potentially we share something that's relevant to your practice, right, from somebody else. Right, so it could be an industry bit of information or a blog, or that. I think we said, in actual fact, I think because you were doing blogs and you've got those news, I think what we said is what might be best is we maybe do that for your news articles, even the ones you've done in the past, right? So, but effectively, maybe if you want to share it's important that you understand what I am sharing. There's nothing for you to do around that. It's just basically I'm grabbing information that you've already written, which is pretty well written on your website. But it's like sending out a soundbite across your social media channels.
I think at least like there's probably, I'll see it and I'll go, oh, that's fine. But until I've seen it the first time, I don't know what it is and it's also the context, because you've got to remember we're a law firm and something might be raised in a context and we go, that's not right, that's defamatory, or it's
So, but I don't think realistically, as you said, you'll see it, and it's literally just restating, but in a news channel, what you're already stating. Effectively, the idea is repurposing your website to people on news feeds. So we're trying to get people aware and then going and having a look at your websites, going, okay, so they're specialist in this. Okay, I'm going to go and have a look at that, right? And then we use the images and content copywriting from the website. Yeah.
Okay, and do you want to talk to me before you first do that? Because some of the stuff on the website, as I mentioned to you, is outdated.
I wouldn't normally. So again, so I wouldn't normally. I think, but the only thing I would say is that, that's why it's sort of in the session. Maybe just so maybe what you need to do. I mean, I don't know whether Katie knows, but whether there's anything that can't be shared from the website, right?
Let me tell you now.
Yeah.
So just on the only thing I'm talking about, we're outdated.
Yeah.
Is the areas of law in wills and estates and employment law.
Okay, maybe just you make that note for us, Katie, that we're not going to put anything in the posts. So, in fact, Katie, do you want to share your screen again and just open the website?
Yeah.
Because effectively, it's not rocket science. I can tell you what we would
just
suggest.
Go to the top, Katie, and then see how it says wills and estates and employment law on the right. Yeah. So we're not really doing those things. So I'd rather those not be pushed out, giving a misleading view of what we do.
So just if you just click on Brockhill and go back to the homepage for me. I'm sure you've click on that just so I can see the homepage. And I think it's a scroll down page, is it? So if you go, you've got insurance, right? So you've got a couple. Are they transitioning those bits? Insurance. So up the top where it had insurance, a bit higher. Does that transition, or is there only one, or does that transition?
I'm not
There's
sure
just
what you
one.
mean by transition.
So each one of those, is it on a timer where it's going from one to the next one? So
No.
that down below, it's not. You have to click on those things that are below, right, and then it'll take you through to those.
And they're
right?
also the service pages as
Correct.
well.
Right. So Monday's post will be about your services, and it'll effectively it'll be very similar to what's here.
Yeah. So just take off. Just remember, wills and estates and employment law. That's the only thing that we don't really do. I've got one case in those two areas, and I'd probably have 95% of my work in the other areas.
So I would make that won't use wills and estates, and then underneath you can literally do a dash and write Monday equals services.
And the other thing is some of the things like our approach and stuff, some of that's a little bit dated. You could use it, but
that's what I'll go back to though. So let's go back to the website for me. Click on news for me up the top. So sometimes they're timed, I imagine, and sometimes they're not, right? So with the, what do they call it, with timely and not timely? Is there any of these? How many latest news are there? Is there just a few? There's 4.
None.
There's 4.
Well, there's latest news, sorry, but they're out of date, those things. We wouldn't want those.
So you don't want to post anything about news? None of them are relevant anymore?
They're too old now.
Okay. All right, so that limits...
So we could give you... So that's where I've been sort of saying around articles. And when I use the term articles, I use it broadly. It could be just a short snippet of latest issues. We could just send you something.
Yeah, but that's a waste of your effort. So I always tell people, if you've got content like that, put that article as a latest news.
We don't know how to do it.
On the website, yeah. So again, I think that might have been something we spoke about with Wes. It would probably be a relatively easy thing, because you said you wanted to do that, right? Is the idea of maybe being able to just use that news feed. That's what I would strongly suggest, because then you get the advantages of search and social, right? So it's by putting it in social feeds, particularly when you're not advertising, it's here today, gone tomorrow, right? Because yes, there's the slight benefit from a search that we've posted it to all these channels, and it might make your Facebook slightly more searchable, or your Twitter, or whatever it might well be. But ultimately, we want to get people to the website where all the content is. So
on that point, Katie, when you write to Wes, can you just remind him that we just want to put up those articles, like, the Magistrates Court, the new jurisdiction?
Yeah.
They're not a hassle, Steve. They're so easy. We're coming across new issues every month. But all we have to do is type a couple of paragraph summary, and it gets chucked in with a link. Or
I have a feeling it's exactly how Workplace Wizards do it, right? So if you go on the top right, just do a plus, open a new tab for me, and just write in workplacewizards.com.au or Workplace Wizards. Yep.
The only issue for us is that when we left 360 South, we didn't know the previous web developer. We didn't know how to actually get articles up.
Yeah. So see this blog, which is news by another name, I think. Where are we? Resource centers, industry up. Oh yeah, industry updates may even be what he's got there, right? I'm sure a lot of these ones so he's got update, click on update, and I reckon of a lot of it he's taken from somewhere else, right? So he makes his little comment at times, his informed opinion maybe, and then so you see that Treasury Laws Amendment? I imagine most of that's taken from that, right? So that's how he's doing it. If you want to kind of...
So you're sharing this sort of content, are you?
Well, in fact, I've worked with him for about 5 years, but they do it in-house now. So but basically in the past, that's what I would have shared on a blog page. That's why I'm kind of familiar with it. So
we haven't been doing that because we didn't have the access to the news page of our own website. So we'll start producing that, and you'll see it.
And that's something that we can add to. In the meantime, what I would suggest you do though is, to that point, is that and certainly what we do is say buyers advocates and a few others. There's some key outlets that they get that information from, right? So often, whether it's whatever it is, Real Estate Victoria or whatever, but essentially you might see an article. So by all means, you can send that article to me, but often I can find it on the social medias and then I can reshare it.
So we'll put it on our website. You don't need a prompt, an email from us to tell you. You'll just see it there when you.
It's better if it's done that way. Yeah, it's easier then.
Katie, can you just pop that in our diary for the subsequent Fridays, and we'll do that. We'll start with the MCV new jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be it's an improvement on your website. It really will help, right? So
again, it just triggers us to do it too, that you're doing this. So
yeah, and you understand why that's a benefit, as I said. So it's great. It's great for me because I can share it across the socials. But the reality is it then sort of positions you with whatever that information source is as someone that's across it, right? Back on their own website and commenting and stuff.
I don't know. I agree. That's great. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting the technical access because we didn't have the coding or whatever to our website and we couldn't access it. So that's why Wes can probably help out. So when we engage Wes, Katie, you don't need to run the email past me. Just tell him what Steve's done and we'll just and tell him what we're going to do on this point.
Yeah.
And I can pay his invoice or whatever, but it didn't say what he was going to do, so we had to work out.
I'd be very surprised if he sent you an invoice. I would have thought it'd be a quote, because even with me, I reckon it's a quote, not an invoice, because that would really surprise me.
Anyway, I'll pay it straight away anyway, but it didn't say exactly what he was doing, so I wasn't sure. Okay. So just prompt him, and I'm ready to get it done, but he might want to do it after Christmas. Let's just see.
What I can do as well, and we can do it together, Katie, albeit in our last sort of quarter of an hour or so, let's go back, and what we can do is actually copy from Basecamp and then include him in that email, so then he can see and we can tell him what we want him to do, right? So then I often do that. I loop him into projects so he can actually see. So at least we can see on an email what we're asking him to do, right? So so you might even want to use Basecamp as a way to do that, because then I can sort of help describe it as well. Anyway, up to you.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yep.
And I think that covers everything I want to touch on. When are you back after Christmas?
I'm just not meeting through Christmas, basically. So I'm kind of, I got plenty of logistical stuff I'm doing sort of in that week before Christmas and New Year. I'm taking next week from Wednesday to Friday going camping. But other than that, I'm pretty much, because I work at the Boxing Day test as well. So, yeah, so I'm around. Yeah.
So you're around. Okay, well, we're back on the 10th of Jan, and it's going to be nice and quiet through the mid bit of Jan. So we'll start getting some more of the latest news up. And what we'll do is we'll take your lead on that, and we'll just do short posts of information, a bit like what you showed with Workplace Wizards. But they'll even be shorter than that.
They don't have to be a lot, right? So you could even be questioning, what is the thoughts? I don't know, but, what does this mean, to you and, however you're positioning that. But as you said, you're very well placed to do that. Can we just go back to your, I'm mindful we've taken more of your time, Blair, than we probably, but just
by the way, just on that, the meeting's been pushed back to 1, Katie, with AIST.
Okay.
Happy days. Just go back to the website. Yeah, just on the website on the far left-hand side. Go back to homepage. So we're not going to use news. So you may as well, at this stage, you can make a note in Basecamp. No news until new news.
Yeah.
Let's
Any
make that
news
note.
after 1612.
No news and.
Just put no news until after 1612.
Yeah.
Because we might start putting it up this week, but it just depends on Wes coming back to us.
Yeah.
I think I might know how to do it because 360 South sent me some videos.
If you can, with Laura on Friday, just do the MCV one. Just put it straight up.
Yep.
And I can see it anyway. So you've got services. Let's go our story for me. And just scrolling down a little bit. So how much information is on this? Not a lot, but then there's our story, and then deliver here. Okay, well, those little deliver. You could almost listen actively for a moment. There's a couple of posts probably even in that, right? But our story, and what's on our team or our people. I think you've got up the top as well. Yeah, support your case, Blair. Yeah,
we're getting this updated.
Katie. Yeah.
Actually, remind Wes in that email, Katie, that we need to update that because we're getting some more photos taken, and we get Hannah or Laura put up as well.
Yeah, so they're okay for now, and at least so I'm going to go. So then go back to sorry, that ankle grinder's going again. Go back to base camp for me and just write our people and so do Friday underneath. So we'll just call it Friday. Our people, our story, and reviews and testimony. You can use reviews and testimony, can't you? I'm pretty sure. So I'm not sure if you've got any. Have you got any Google reviews or any testimony? We only just set up probably the Google reviews, did we?
There's only one further Google review.
Is it on the site?
Yeah, it's on Google's. Yeah,
it's on Google. Okay, cool. And then for now on Wednesday, we've had a look a little bit, Katie, but this is probably something that in the short term, maybe we'll just engage a little bit with strategic others. So in between Monday and Wednesday, we call it strategic engagement. So, and that includes with things like B&I, Blair, right? So we get, we kind of like maybe some B&I stuff, particularly if you're mentioned, So for instance, where you did your share and then B&I is sharing it, we can share that to your page as well, right? So that's the idea, is that, it was up there. It's a picture of you doing your thing. Strategic engagement. So, and sharing, right? But sharing, there's two things that I would normally share. Again, it's the same as when we were talking about connecting. It's what helps us place us. So it's Melbourne, right? But it's to do with construction law, right? So in some of those things that we're finding, actually, in fact, now you'll be able to see what our news feed looks like. So and post by strategic others, right? So I'll get you to go into that news feed once you've written that last little bit. So, and I'll show you where that is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to Facebook now, which is 2 across, and go to your shortcut, yep. And this stuff is often what people, it's all they do, right? So in actual fact, they don't necessarily go into the news feed, but if you go news feed on the left hand side, Katie, and go next, yeah. And go next, and next, and well, we could probably follow Ted. We could go with Lawyers Weekly, go The Age, that helps places, College of Law, Supreme Court, that's New South Wales. B&I Elevate, that's because you've been mentioned. That's why that comes up. And then we probably want to connect with, I like this because we couldn't do this before, Katie, but this is again that sort of strategic homework. The Law Institute, any of those ones that we talked about, building. WorkSafe is a really good one for you, right? So that now go to Newsfeed. Just click on Go to Newsfeed, and go OK. That's all right. It always says. Then just refresh the page or reload the page. Yep. And I'll get you to just copy that link, because sometimes it doesn't immediately show. So just copy that and then paste it into where you were back in Basecamp. And so you paste it under that part, because that's where we go looking. And so just make that note around connecting with strategic others. So that's one way. So through the feed. The other way is if you go to Facebook, and I'm sure you've possibly done it, but again, it's using the 3 dots. So if you go top left-hand side where it says search Facebook, up the top there, and you go Law Institute of Victoria, was it? Or, yeah. That looks like the place rather than the, just try again. That's it, right? And so you can see that probably you like that potentially, but there's the 3 dots next to the magnifying glass on the right-hand side. And then it's got like as your page. And so anything that's important for you to be following. So Blair, I was just explaining before, other than spending money, this just takes an investment of time where you follow others with the intent of getting their attention so they'll follow you back, right? Even though it is a business to business, because then the end game could be that we share something from Law Institute Victoria, for argument's sake, and they like it or comment on it or whatever. We call it ambush social media marketing, but generally everybody wins, because the idea is you're taking a bit of information that they wanted to get out to their community that's relevant to your community also, but they might not be able to get to them easily, right? So in a way, it's win-win-win, right? So similarly, what was this one? So you can close that one. I think you've liked that now as your page, did you? Yep.
Yeah. And so did you want more of those similar ones?
Yeah. So again, another one might be we looked at building
VCAT, Magistrates Court of Victoria, County Court, Supreme Court.
Yep.
VCAT would be the most important. Yeah, VCAT's good. And then MCV with all this other stuff going on. Do you have to type the whole thing in? Does it not?
I just don't want to click.
Just make sure you get the right one. That's all.
Get the location instead.
So again, those 3 dots. Sometimes with the bigger pages, they won't let you follow them. Like the City of Melbourne, for instance, can be tough to follow. But this one's fine. And look, just recognizing if it just so it's worth knowing, and I think I may have told you this before, but if at the moment Katie clicks like, that would be liking as Katie. As soon as she does that 3 dots, just a terrible cover picture. What the hell are they doing? That's ridiculous.
And do VBA as well, Katie. They're the main ones, because they do put some stuff up there that we could share at times.
Yeah, so that, and I'd certainly engage with it, right? So again, even just by me clapping or showing interest or caring or whatever, it gets their attention. So that's what I typically do on and so that one, see, that's one of those ones where it won't let you follow them.
It's a government one.
What was the one that we did, Katie, around building Victoria or whatever it was?
VBA.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that was the one, was it?
So we're already following it.
Yeah, oh, we're on the other channels, we are.
Yeah.
Katie, when we do the catch-up on Friday and do the articles, we'll try to keep this as a regular weekly thing where we just check up and keep advancing.
Yeah, when I do the write-up, I give you a little bit of homework around this stuff, right? So it'll talk about it from a personal LinkedIn through to the B2B type stuff, because it really does help us. But probably, as you've just mentioned there, I think Katie even already wrote that in. So if you go back, Katie, to Basecamp, we probably did write the couple of ones that we already sort of identified, right? So it's just probably whether there's others. So yeah, Victoria, Law Institute of Victoria, VBA. What I was mentioning, Blair, I don't know how important, I think you've mentioned around construction companies, right? Do you follow all the different construction companies as well? So to get their attention?
That'd be good too. Yeah, so, we don't at the moment.
Yeah, so construction companies is somebody's definitely, big builders, that sort of stuff.
So just we put in our clients,
definitely, absolutely. WorkSafe.
We'll do that later together, Katie, when we do the first catch up on this.
So I think if we know that, then it just means that relevant things should be in that news feed, and then I can't go far wrong, right? Because really, often the agency itself will put the little description, right? So then what I'll do over the top is actually put the article heading. So you just put the heading of the article and just say read more, and you just point below, right, so that people can read more about whatever that is that they're sharing and it's relevant, right? So you'll get to the gist of that. I reckon we've probably if you scroll up the top for me, Katie. So again, what I think we need to do underneath where it's got Facebook Ads Manager. And we probably just type underneath where it's got Blair, we can't be added to business page. Just underneath that, just go enter. So what's outstanding is we need to create, and we're going to probably have to reconvene. But as you said, at this stage, once we've got access, I can draft these. I can certainly create once I can get access. I could create it, but you're going to need to give it to me that access, Blair. in the same way as what you tried to do, but you just can't click the button at the moment, right? So we need to create the Facebook ads pixel. And we need to create the saved audience. And the saved audience is basically is all those people within a certain geographic radius that do what you want them to do. Is it a construction manager? It's a builder, builders. It's whatever else it might well be. The types of people that either are gonna is injured on a site or maybe have to deal with an injury on a site. So that's what we put into the Facebook Ads Manager. Until we've kind of got access to that, it's probably slightly difficult for me to explain that. But essentially, it's all your search terminology for what the sorts of people you're trying to find with your advertising, right? So that they can then find you. Does that make sense? So they're the things that we can't do until we've, and clearly we can't run ad campaigns. And so that's the other thing. My suggested ad campaign in the first instance would be probably a $3 plus $3 a day awareness and traffic. Because it's the easiest way of getting tens of thousands of people to start to understand what your brand looks like and what it does, and get them to know if they go to the website, they can learn more about you, right? That's largely the one that I'd suggest that we do. And I think the other thing that we talked about, you can never have enough decent imagery, right? So as you said, you're doing some more imagery of yourself, but probably do imagery of what your client looks like, not just you. So in other words, it's all about what's in it for me. So when I'm looking at posts or when I'm looking at websites, and I can use free sites for this. So I go to sites like, in fact, Publer's got it built in. So I go to sites like Unsplash, and I can look at building site, for instance, or whatever it might well be if I'm looking at what I'm describing. But any imagery that you can get around that, and if you can add it to a website, that's always going to be valuable for you, right? It's the same as when you're writing news articles or blogs, right? So clearly when you're repositioning other people's articles, well, we could just use generally the picture that they've used, yeah, because you're acknowledging the source and that sort of stuff. So the only last thing that I don't think we probably did, so if you scroll up, Katie, now that, and just so that we could touch off. So as I said, what I'll do, if you scroll up into the planning session part, I'll write up this session in down here. Clearly at the moment, we can't put in some of that stuff around the Facebook ads, so we know what we're limited, but we can put in key calls to actions, which we take off website and that sort of thing. And I can certainly start posting. So, but a lot of this stuff here sort of tells us what we still need to do, and I'll make a little note around that once we've got Facebook's in touch with Facebook ads. Scroll down a bit further. Yep. And then I'll also write down what we're going to post about Monday to Friday. Then the last little part here, I'll just make that note, right? So what you can really help is, it's great you guys are going to be talking and continue to talk. One of the best things you can do when we're not advertising is just, particularly on LinkedIn and Facebook, engage with your own company's posts. Even if that just means liking your own post as Blair. In between liking a post that you see from the Institute or from somebody else, another mate, it could be BNI, whatever it is. If you're doing that on your own news feed, you're liking, commenting. If you want to in future, you'll probably share it, Blair. So if you're commenting about a particular article and then we've shared that article because it's come from the website, you may well share that to your personal site as well on LinkedIn. And you may choose to do it on Facebook as well, depending on how you use Facebook. But LinkedIn is the best for it, where you share that article that we've posted as the company. You share that to your own profile as well. But the main takeaway is please engage with the company posts as yourself, and you're more than welcome to do it as the company as well. So the company can like its own post. No harm in that. What it does is Facebook and LinkedIn, it just helps them think, well, okay, people are liking stuff, right? So, and the other benefit of it is if Blair likes it, I can see in the feed, because I'm connected to Blair, I'm connected to Katie. I can see what my connections are doing, right? So it's a softly way of pushing your company. Does that make sense? Yeah, makes sense, because it's all about the news feed. The best way that we can spread the new, your information through the news feeds, the better, right? I'll make sure that and the other thing is that I make a note there. So yeah, I can use whatever images are available or supplied, but if I haven't got one that's immediately, then I can use some free to use ones through the platform. Blair, there's clearly going to be some things that we'll keep communicating, that you're going to be updating websites or updating articles, and maybe even, as you said, with updated photos. But even if there's anything seasonal or something that's really topical, just let me know. Look, yes, Steve, we know normally you're going through the services, but here's what I want you to really sort of talk about next week. So because we schedule a week in advance, it's always good to either know, if you let me know before the Monday or before the Wednesday, right? So if you let me know before a Wednesday, so even you have a meeting on a Friday, right?
Friday, we'll do it then. Yeah.
So if you let me know on a Friday there's something particular you'd like me to post about, then I can do that to all the channels. Even if it means I bump the one that I might have scheduled for the next Monday, I just bump that a Monday further, right? So if there's something particularly that needs to be shared immediately, then let me know if you want it to go through across all channels. And I did say to Katie, but there might be other things. It might be your breakup party, right? On Facebook, that you just, and Katie just shares using Business Suite to Instagram and Facebook. It just could be you guys, celebrating somebody's milestone or whatever it might well be. Those posts are still perfectly legit. You don't always have to be trying to build, because sometimes I was saying to Katie earlier, we just like Blair and we like Katie. And we like to see that you know what I mean? That you're kind of normal humans doing normal human things, appreciating one another and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So they don't always have to be something that's strategic, which is kind of a strategic habit that I'm doing. Yeah. So it's actually good to break up some of that with some more human type, enjoy your Christmas break. And that's probably is the other one. If you do have a message, in terms of office hours and a photo, maybe of the team, for Christmas, maybe that's something that we could put across the social so people know that you aren't back till Monday the 10th or whatever it is. Yeah. That's probably a worthwhile one to do. Yeah. Sweet. All right. I reckon, so I don't forget, can I get you to hit send on that comment that you've done, Katie?
Yep.
If you do that, that'll help me do the write-up. And as I said, I'll do that hopefully before what time do you meet on Fridays, you guys? Normally.
We're just always in the office, but
right, cool.
Start a new meeting.
Yeah.
Late morning, maybe afternoon. I'm not sure.
Only reason I was saying that I'll do the write-up for you, and hopefully I'll do it. You'll have it before the morning. So I've just got another setup, a planning session this afternoon. So I'm always
Katie,
mindful.
Just for that invite for the first Friday, so for tomorrow, let's just have a few items just to do. Obviously the stuff that Steve was saying just then.
Yeah.
About following and then also some material for him. I will just flick you a little bit of content on this new law that's come out that we're getting a lot of interest in. So because we mightn't be able to put things up on our latest news by tomorrow.
Yeah. No, that's okay. So if you've got things particular like that, I'd usually use that, because the way to think of it is go, hey, Steve, this is a good article that could be shared on a Wednesday. Think of it like that. I've got something here, Steve, that I think is probably relevant, that it's by others, but, we'd like to share it on ours. If they'd like to talk to us about this new development, whatever it is, and we'll still probably put your contact details on there. But yeah, if you've got anything that you want to share, usually Wednesdays would be the day that I'd share it, except if it's a new service or a new testimony or whatever, then I'll share it on the other days. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Any final comments before we jump off?
None from me. Any from you, Katie?
No, I didn't have any final comments. Sorry, I've now lost where you are on my screen.
What I might do is before, so you've hit send on that one, so thank you for that, Katie. What I'll do, because you guys probably don't need to be on here for it, but I might continue the recording just, excuse me, so you know that I've sent off that chat request with Facebook, and hopefully we'll get a bit of dialogue coming to and from. They can be a pain in the ass, to be honest, in terms of my ultimate goal with this is to actually get a case number so that we can start an email chain with our case number with the problem, so they can fix us and tell us it's now fixed. When we go on the chat, it's often a concierge, which is trying to hear what your problem is, and they're all very nice, and we understand, and we're very concerned for you, but it can often take a while to cut to the chase. So as fast as I can move them to the email is what I try and do, so that we can get the issue resolved by people that know exactly what they're doing. So hopefully we'll get that in train today. Sound good? Yeah. So you can either watch me do that, or you can take yourselves off and continue with the call, or continue with what you need to do. But I will contact them now, as I said. So what we do. But yeah, maybe I'll just put my head to it, because I've got about 10 minutes to sort of make contact with them, I reckon. Right. So
we'll leave you to it. Thanks, Steve.
I reckon that's the best bet. Thanks so much, guys.
I'll give you a call in a bit, Katie. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Take care.
See ya.
Thanks, bye. Where are we? Okay, so the issue is the page owner, who is Blair, BU Lawyers, up the top, is unable to add admins to the business. If I go back to here.
is unable to add page admins to the admins to the business manager. Is he's ID previously. Can't do that. Okay. Just retype that. Okay, let's go Blair. There he is.
Okay, because I have another meeting, I am going to just continue this chat on my phone messenger. So I'll continue on and I'll stop the recording here.